What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry, bringing you the second episode of multi-user geodatabases. Are we recording? Yes, we are. This was a great weekend, really. So, we had the Game Awards in 2000, the Game Award 2016. The first time I attended the Game Award. It was really a good show. Not much. I don't really agree with the games being nominated, but it was a good show. But the PlayStation experience yesterday, it was insane. Really, really great announcement. Really great games. So for those who don't know that this is another side of me. I love video games. So with that, let's get started. So what we wanted to do with our last episode, we introduced this series where we wanted, are we recording? I think I already did that. Yes, we are. All right. So we started to talk about the multi-user geodatabase, or the spatial database engine, which allows you to allow multiple users to hit the same database to edit, right? Obviously, this is a basic definition in any relational databases, but in the geodatabase, if you're working with file geodatabase or access geodatabases or personal geodatabases, shapefiles, this is really not the case. These are like single user local file edits. I mean, some people really put them in the share and allow multiple people to hit them, but that's not the correct way to implement geodatabase editing. If you have multiple users hitting your geodatabases, editing it, viewing it, you really have to have a high availability server, a good relational database like Oracle, Postgres, SQL Server, DB2, these famous, and all of them, most of them are supported. Most of these are supported with the SDE technology. So yesterday, last episode, we might we explained how to create a Postgres multi-user geodatabase. All right, so today I'm planning to explain very briefly, right? So that's a plan. I usually just open a notepad and type in what I want to do. So this episode 2, I want to talk about the first type of, I don't know what to call it really. So this is called let's call it the editing modes. All right? I think this is what they are called. The editing modes in the geodatabase. So when we turn on this multi-user editing, we have, I think, 4 modes. So the first one is the one we are going to do today. All right, is non-versioning, no archiving. The second one is versioned archiving with archiving. Let's call it non-versioned, no archiving, non-versioned with archiving. 3, and the third is versioned, no archiving. 4, versioned archiving. Right? I'm gonna talk about the benefits of each one, but I want to dive on each one in its own episode, sort of, right? But really briefly talking about these, right? Non-versioning edited. Non-version is the versioning is the model that I explained in the last episode. Is this ability to provide high isolation, so you can connect to your geodatabase, create a version, and do shed load of stuff and editing in your version, and nobody else can see it. it's like having your own local copy of stuff, but it's in the geodatabase. That's the versioning. Non-versioning is exactly the opposite. It's an open. You cannot create a version. So that's the classical way of knowing a database, right? So a database is versioning is just Esri's way of implementing this high isolation concept. So that's the classical way of updating thing of having this is non-versioned. So that's just simple. Archiving is the ability of keeping historical data, right? When you create, so a simple thing is that when you create a feature and you update that feature, and then, all right, so you create a feature on time 952, and then you updated that feature in 953, and then you deleted that feature in 953, 54. So the archiving keeps all these record for you. It doesn't delete anything. It doesn't physically removes the record from the database. It keeps it there with a nice from and to date that, oh, this feature lived from this date to this date to this time, and then it was updated from this time to this time. So very briefly speaking, so these are the types of archiving. You know what archiving is? You know what non-versioned is? Versioned is just the same thing, right? You have versioning with non-archiving, versioning with archiving. So these are the four modes. Today, we're going to do the non-versioned, non-archiving. So that's the first mode we're going to use. And we're going to convert our Phonatech geodatabase, hopefully, to this mode. And then we're going to go through the Arc object code and make the necessary changes for our code to know how to treat this geodatabase, because things are changing, right? That code that we authored that I showed you last time was designed to connect to a file geodatabase, right? So we need to shake things up. So we need to teach it, hey, I have a multi-user geodatabase now. Can you support this? So these are now the things we have. So let's get started. All right, so we have a geodatabase, remember? So let's just open a new instance of ArcMap. So this is today, non-versioned, no archiving. All right, so I'm gonna go to my database connection here. You can go through our catalog or ArcMap. We had added a very nice little window here so you can connect to your databases. Mine is Postgres. My host name is iGeometry, which is you can use the IP as well. SDE, I don't have another user. Save, and that's my database. Phonatech we created. Go to the previous episode to see how did we do all this work. So I just connected to my database. I'm gonna rename it SDE at, I don't know, Phonatech, right? So now I'm going to create a new feature class, right? And I'm going to call it trees. This is just a simple point feature class, right? Next, I don't know. No, before we do that, let's add a base map. How do you add base map? Oh, there you go. Yeah, let's just add the topographic so we get the spatial reference and all these things. And we know where we're creating our stuff. So where do you want your feature class? Now let's go and create it. I'm going to create a new feature class. It's called trees. It's a point. Next. And then let's take the same spatial reference from the geographic WGS default. Yeah, why not? Let's add a field, I don't know, height. What does tree have? Height. Okay, this is just a simple feature class. All right, we just did. That's our tree right there. Is there a nice symbology? Is there a nice symbology for a tree here? Updating index database. There you go. That's a 3D. I don't want a 3D. Just... Dude, there's no stupid tree. Oh, there you go. That's a nice tree. I need a 2D tree. Now, I don't even need to save. All right, let's go to United States of America. Where should we go? Great Plains, Denver, Oklahoma, Kansas City. All right. So, now, by default, when I create a feature class, it's a new geodatabase. The whole thing is, fortunately, is non-version, non-archiving. So, and you can change these things by going to manage and doing something called register as versioned to make it versioned, right? Enable archiving to enable archiving. Very simple, right? Now my geodatabase, my feature class is not registered as version, it's non-archived, right? So can I edit this? Can I create a new feature? Let's create a new tree. Oh, the moment I start editing, it gives me this error. It says no editable layers. Starting editing counter or cannot continue. It says layer or table is not registered as version. You know why? ArcMap by default is, I forgot to mention very important thing here. I should have before I continue to ArcMap. So non-version editing, right? The moment your database or your feature classes or tables become non-versioned, you lose one thing, one very important thing. We call it long transactions. So what is a transaction? A transaction is basically an atomic transaction is when you have a set of queries, DDLs, DMLs, anything you want, DMLs basically, you want to execute all of them together or none of them, right? Everybody knows this. So this is a very concept, very simple atomic transaction. Long transaction, again, this is comes with high isolation. It's an Esri provided concept that long transaction allows the undo and redo of edits. So if you create a feature, you can we provide the ability to start editing first. That's the concept of start editing. So an edit session. So once you create an edit session, you go and create some features. You create one feature, two features, third feature. All these edits then get persisted to the geodatabase. But we give you the ability to undo them. Although they are stored in the database, we have a smart way in the geodatabase to know, oh, by the way, these are not saved, but yet persisted in the database. So the database knows these records exist, but we in ArcMap session or Pro session, we control this transaction. That's why we call them long transactions. So we start an edit, we create these features, and the moment we save, we know that, okay, you want all these edits, so we're gonna keep it for you. Otherwise, the moment you save, you lose this ability to undo and redo this stuff, right? So that's the ability with long transaction. So with non-versioned, unfortunately, you cannot do this. This feature doesn't exist. You cannot do long transactions with non-version editing, right? The non-version feature classes. The reason is that although long transactions seemed like a nice idea to have, it's a very good feature, right? I can create all this stuff in my version, and I have all these edits, and I can undo and redo if I made a mistake, right? So although this is a nice feature, it has some performance penalties. You're storing things and keep bombarding the database with queries, and it makes the queries more complex. Obviously, it allows the users to put records that maybe he doesn't need to have there. So there are more overhead, right? So there's benefits and disadvantage and advantage for no longer long transactions. So with non-version editing, there are no long transactions, so there's no undo redo, obviously. So that's why ArcMap by default, when you start editing, he gives you the ability to undo and redo. And he says, oh, by the way, the layers or the feature classes you have does not support this undo redo that I have. So I'm sorry, you cannot edit this. So in other words, any feature you create gets persisted and you cannot undo that. That's it. It's like you go and do an insert statement in your SQL statement and then commits. That's it. It goes there, right? So that's the same concept there. All right. So how do I change that? So is that it? I cannot edit this data? Of course you can. There's a little option that you have to disable. So when you go to editing, start editor options, versioning, and then you say edit a version of the database with the ability to undo redo. Uncheck that. I don't want to do undo redo. I'm cool. And then you start editing and everything is fine. You can create your trees now. 1 tree, 2 tree, 3 trees. And these trees are saved. That's it. Although you didn't click save, you saved them, man. We didn't give any heights. Let's do some heights. How about that? What is the attribute? Just use the pro. All right, 1, 2. Oh god. Let's call this 100, 300, and 200. So any edit I made, I'm making edits, right? These are going to the geodatabase. These are going to the database. Want to make sure? Why not? Let's go pgadmin, our Postgres administrator. I got a nice mug yesterday from the PlayStation Experience. I wish you can see it, but I can't. Log in. I have 2 databases. This is the default one. That's ours. Schemas. We created on the SDE user, right? So that's called SDE. SDE user. And that's the table name is SDE.trees. That's a basic database concept. So each table you create belongs to a user. So same idea. All right, so we just created this guy. And let's go to my tables. Bunch of tables, right? Makes sense because we want to track all this stuff. That's our table right there, trees. So I just created, what? 3 trees? I'm expecting my 3 trees to be here. There you go. There are 3 records. And this is the shape, basically the geometry, ST geometry point, right? So that's how we store this as basically a blob binary, and we know what it means. All right, makes sense, guys? Makes sense, right? So that's right there is my trees, non-version, no archiving. Gonna stick with that. So next, what do we want to do? Let's delete that guy. So there's an option, of course, to stop editing, but it doesn't give you an option. If you worked with file geodatabases, by the way, file geodatabases support long transaction. This is very important. If you have, this is only for SDE geodatabase. File geodatabases support long transaction. I think shapefile also support that. I'm not sure, but we know how to do long transactions with file geodatabases. We do it under the hood, basically. So it supports long transactions. So you can save edit, discard edits. Oh, I don't want these edits. With non-version geodatabase, not so much. So, but it gives you, non-version gives you the best performance because it's hitting the raw database as it is. It's not doing any fancy things, just hitting. You create a feature, you're sure of the feature, we insert a record. We make sure it's damn atomic, right? So, and the queries are optimized, right? It's even faster than obviously the without archiving. This is fast. This is more optimized, but with archiving, make it adds a little bit on overhead because you need to maintain all these records, of course. So big database gets slowed down. Versioning, non-archiving, again, gets more. You get more features with versioning high isolation, but performance start to drop because of all these joins that we have to do. Versioned and archiving, that's basically the slowest thing, but you get obviously the most benefit out of it. Again, this is the classic way of versioning. In the utility network, we're releasing a new brand versioning model, which is very optimized. It doesn't require these joins with A and D table. I'm not going to talk about this now, but the branch versioning, the new versioning model is much more optimized. It acts like the non-versioned. It hits the tables directly, very few joins. It's very optimized. Okay, let's get started. All right, what did we want to do? We want to do something fun, right? I will delete my tree, and then next, I'm gonna migrate my Phonatech feature classes into the new geodatabase. But before I do that, you know what? Let's do it here. Folders, geometric code, Phonatech. That's my geodatabase and all these feature classes. Can I select multiple? Can't do that. Guess I have to do it one by one, huh? Why? That sucks. All right, paste. Just copy the data areas. Very difficult, right? Copy. Paste. Oh, wait. I don't want the SD to be the owner of these, but yeah, why not? What did I do? I think I made this the home or something. I don't know what that means. You can sit and watch. This is a very difficult task, guys. Alright, so don't judge me. I'm copying and pasting stuff around. Although it looks easy, but we're doing a lot of stuff in the background, you know. We're doing all kind of conversion, making sure the Postgres database supports this and convert any files or features or rows to be supported with the new multi-user editing. I think we got all of them, right? Look at that. It copies also the domains that we made in the previous series, right? We made a bunch of domains. All right, let's make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tables. This guy had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you guys have any questions, just shoot them in the comments. We're gonna discuss them, right? So these are my feature classes. Now, close this guy. No. Some of you say, don't you have to save? Of course not, because these are DDLs. They already have been saved. The prompt was for the project. Do you want to save the project or not? So we go to iGeometry, Phonatech. Then we open phonatech.mxt. So now this guy is pointing all these nice layers. I remember showing this, right? These are all pointing to the file geodatabase. How do we resource them to point to our new Phonatech? Simple. We do sit source database, point this guy. What was that? Device. Set. See, the moment I do that, it says, oh, I discovered this is a Postgres instance and this is the authentication. Oh, you want me to do that? Sure, why not? See, we created 2 workspaces. Second one, what was tower? So it says here tower, but the name is towers. It's just bad. Was it did areas? Then tower range. I'm gonna get a lot of error, by the way, when I fire up that code. I know for sure. So you're up for fun, guys. Tower details, that's a very important table. Tower logs, I'm not sure I use that. Now I'm gonna override that file. Now, same data, it looks the same, but 100% this guy won't work now. Or maybe it will, I don't know. So I'm just, I'm surprised that that worked. How about that? I'm speechless. See, that means that tells me that I write one hell of a code. Let's generate that guy again. Ooh, how about that? We don't have to do shit. Everything works. Alright, so let's do that guy. Let's see if the code real works, right? So let's move that guy here. Move that guy. Again, this is just to show you guys that we moved to a file J, but the real goal here, the real goal is not to move to an unversion here. Those guys has asked for versioning, right? And we're gonna give it to them. Wow, guys, I'm speechless. This actually worked. Woo! And I think I know why. I'll let you know. We're gonna take a look at the code now. So, what I was expecting the code to change, really. So first of all, the way this code was authored, this code was authored in a way to not co-create a workspace. It doesn't say, oh, go and open this file geodatabase and then connect to it. It uses the layers to connect, to find out the workspace. So that's an advantage. So this made me like, this made the development of this very extensible, because I use the layers and I ask the layer, hey, what is the workspace you're connected to, right? And then it gives me the workspace it's connecting to. So let me show you where's that piece of code that I used. So it is kind of have some hard coding, but where's that guy? Was it Tower Manager? No. It was basically to generate this guy. There you go. So I'm getting the first layer, which is this. Next document, active view, focus map, get the first layer, whatever that is, all right? And from that layer, give me the feature class, and then get the data set, and then from the data set, give me the workspace, and then it does all the rest of the work, generates all the reception areas. You can take a look at the code. We actually wrote this code from scratch, so you can go to the C# add-in and just find out how did we wrote all this code from scratch, right? And then just opens the feature classes. So these names didn't change. Tower range is feature class is still called tower range. Some of you said, hey, but now we have some prefix here, phonatic.std. Don't we have to add that? That's a very excellent question, right? So this code will fail, obviously, if you connect it to those feature classes. Now the owner is SDE, and we are connected as SDE. Remember when we did that? When we go here, we are connected as SDE user, right? So we don't have actually a user here that is connected to this, right? The owner is the user, so anything you open, it will assume, it will basically put the current user, which is SDE, dot tower range, and try to open it. And it opens because the owner is the user connected. But let's do this. Let's try to break it, right? What happens if I go and do this? I want to go administration, add user. I'm gonna add a new user. Let's call him John Snow. John. Now we're gonna create, let's delete these guys, shall we? Was John Snow connecting. Now John Snow, John at Phonatech. Holy shit. John Snow can't see shit. He can't see the tables. Why? That's the beauty of databases, guys. We need isolation. We don't need everyone to see all our stuff. That's why file geodatabases don't work, because everybody can see everything. Like if you create this user John and you don't want John to see, now John can't see shit anyway. But John, if you don't want him to see the device feature class, or you don't want him to see the dead areas for some reason, you just don't give him privileges to do that. But now we are feeling generous, so we're gonna give John everything. I'm saying everything. Only if I remember how to do that. All right, let's do that. Right click, I think it's manage privileges, and then you say John Snow. You know nothing. All right. So what do we? Okay, that was quick. I'm sorry, guys. So privileges, we give John to select only, so he can only look at the data. All right. Let's just give him privileges to look at the data for a moment. This is painful. I knew I should create a feature data set, so I can. A feature data set is, you know what? Let's fucking create a feature data set. A feature data set, it just groups everything, and it's really a cool thing. You know, it just groups everything, and it has a common oh, you can put a table in the feature data set. Got it. Motherfuck. What did I do? Why do we have different spatial references here? Huh? I thought, what? These guys have to have the same spatial reference. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's a New Yorker accent. What are you talking about? Have some coffee. Is that coffee? What is that? Dude. How do you change the spatial reference? Was it feature extent? I swear to God, it was somewhere here. Coordinate, there you go. So let's do import from this guy. So make it the same. For some reason, these guys are, this is just a mess. This is just a mess. Right now, can we please It says failed to paste SDE towers. The spatial reference does not match. Are you kidding me? Import. Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, so what is that spatial reference anyway? Copy. How come it's not the same space? It is the same spatial reference. What are you talking about? I don't want to waste a lot of time with this. It is the same spatial reference, but for some reason this is being a bitch. I don't know. Give up. Some of them got copied nicely, some of them didn't, so thought really this will be just really quick and easy, but apparently not. So let's create another feature dataset. Phonatech dataset. Okay. And then I'm gonna import the one. Gonna import the one or towers. So that's web.vjs, 1IF4, web migrator, auxiliary sphere, and then there you go. You complain now. The spatial for Z? Oh, we put Z's on that. Okay. Alright, so it says the spatial reference Z values do not match. Alright, we can make this work. It's alright. So we can make this Z work. So what is your Z now? What is your Z? Your Z is no coordinate system, but towers, it doesn't have a Z. I didn't remember having a Z. This is just some sort of weird thing going on. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna figure it out some other time, right? I'll let you know. I think I corrupted my database. Alright, so it did copy it, but it's just alright, so let's get back. Jon Snow, yes, let's give him permission. That was a waste of time. We could have done by now. Alright, so I want to give Jon Snow permissions. I wanted to act fancy, but that's a big fail. At some point, I remember enabling Z's on the towers for some reason that I don't remember now. Now I have to figure out which spatial reference did I use to do that. And yeah, of course, tower details. Yeah, this guy has to read the tower details. Come on, John. Almost done. So if we had a feature dataset, we would just basically, I think I could have select multiple. I don't know what's wrong. Because I'm using a Mac and I don't know what's the shortcut for selecting. It should be control, but obviously it's not. Alright, so did these get persisted? Yes, all of them get persisted now. I think we got.
What would you like to play next?
What the fuck, Alexa? You scared the shit out of me. Holy fuck.
What would you like to play next?
Nothing! I swear Alexa is haunted. Alright, so now we will change. So now John can see, he can see this stuff now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, one is missing. Which one? Tower range is missing. All right. How about now? How about now? Refresh. All right. Jon Snow. Go, John. All right. So now I will go through each one and source it to the John connection. See, there's a big difference now. So now John is connecting to these guys, not the SDE, which is the proper way, by the way. You don't give a project to a user and the connected user is the SDE. You don't give the SDE password to people. That's just wrong. Right? Or do you? If you do, then you guys are in big trouble. People can just log into your database and do shit. You don't do that. You gotta be careful. All right, now John. Yeah, oh, tower details, yeah. Let's close one. Yep, now all of them, it does say that this is a connection to the SDE.default. That's the version, that's the default version, which is non-version. I know this is confusing, but just get it from me. This is the default version, but you double click on that guy. See the username? Now it's John. Now John, I'm gonna save that. Now this is gonna fail because these tools are editing tools. These open a workspace from the layer and do shit, right? So it does stuff. It creates stuff on the, it updates rows, it deletes stuff. So these tools should not work. Yes, this is what we want to see. Table not found. Why? Because John is not allowed to edit. We don't have to change anything in the code. Again, the code is just works fine, right? And I'm gonna explain to you these things. So start editing true means, do you want to start it with? This is basically the same code that works with non-version, non-archiving. If you use non-version archiving, we have to make a change. I'm gonna show you that change, but I don't think we need to because this code just works. You can still do start editing, start edit operation. That's your transaction. I think we have to make the change to do the abort. Oh, we already did that. So we did talk about aborting a transaction. Like if you did something bad, he says, "Oh, that transaction is bad. Let's abort it." Okay. So that's this is necessary to make things atomic. Like now, although we attempt to make something, we made a change, but something failed, so the transaction has been aborted. And same with this guy, of course. So what's happening here? Oh, what's happening here is actually something different, right? So it says table not found. So this is a very common mistake that people make. When you open a feature class, you give it just the name of the feature class, and then that's wrong. The reason is when you just give it a feature class name, we will assume that you own that table, right? So where is that open feature class? Let's go search for the open feature class. So dead areas, for instance, right? This table, when you say open feature class dead areas, that means in a multi-user geodatabase. I think we've gone way beyond time, but I'm gonna end it now just after that. So when you open a feature class, you specify just the name of the feature class, you saying that I own this bitch. So I'm gonna open it. So we're gonna add a John or the username dot dead areas, and we try to open that. It says, wait a second, there is no John dot dead areas. Dead areas belong to another user. I'm not gonna tell you, but you have to guess it, or you have to know it basically. Do you know who this table belongs to? That's right, it's SDE. So you have to change all this code to say SDE did areas, right? So let's go do all these changes. So we get a different kind of error. We're gonna get a different kind of errors anyway, right? This is not it, but let's make all these changes now. The feature class, again, SDE dot, SDE dot, SDE dot, SDE dot. I think that's it, huh? How about that? Oh, SDE dot. Are there any? Let's make a solution. Open feature class. How about that? Oh, we still have. Okay. Done. Oh no, not yet. There's a lot of. We are opening a lot of tables. That's just bad. We should cache these things. What do you think, guys? See, this is I'm changing all these places. Why should change on one location? See, that's bad coding right there. I'm telling you. All right, it's my coding, but it's bad. Oh yeah, we're gonna push, but let's save this guy. So all these connections are pointing using the John user to connect to a data that belongs to the SDE, which we gave the permission to read only for John. Jon Snow's dead. Spoiler alert. And he then, I'm not gonna say. Spoiler alert. I'm not gonna say anything. All right. If you don't know that, then you don't watch Game of Thrones anyway. So yeah. Okay. What? It says file recent document. Open the Phonatech. Can you guys give me a better name than this? I don't even know if you will watch this far. This video sucks. I don't know if you're really still watching, but if you're learning anything, I hope you guys tell me because I don't know. Alright, so tell me if this is useful. Write something. Really appreciate any commentary, guys, from you. Just follow me on Twitter. It's HNASR. Write me an email. Ask me any questions you want. I like it when I get emails from you guys. And thank you for everybody who really liked that episode. So I got a lot of emails. What do we want to do? All right, so we change all this code. Now when I do that, I get table not found still. Let's debug. You missed debugging, guys. Let's debug because I think we need to debug. We just compiled everything, rebuilt everything, and we still got the same error. I think there is a place that we didn't change. What the fuck is that? I don't know. Something was berserk. 10-4. Alright guys, I figured out what's wrong with this device file, so I had to just I had a problem with the migration, so I changed some files. So now let's take a look. Now we can debug, hopefully. Now we can find out what's wrong, or basically what's happening. Like when I click this tool, I need to really change that name. So when I click here, we nicely get here. This says go in and recalculate signal. That's the first call to open the feature class. And then I can open it because Jon Snow can open a feature class. He has reading permission. Can't write though. But let's see how it goes. He goes ahead and queries. He gets the moment he starts to store, when you want to store that feature, look what he got. What we got? That's more like an insufficient permission. That is a nice error. So it says, oh, I tried to create a feature, but it really failed because this guy doesn't have permissions. So that makes sense, right? So, and this is a very easy fix, right? So I'm gonna push the code right now for you guys, and I believe I'm gonna finish the next episode, right? So let's do that in the next episode. It's really easy fix, and we will move from the non-versioning. You know what? On the second thought, let's fix it right now. How about that? Let's push that changes, so no more changes there. Let's commit change to non-versioning, a bug fix for migration, commit all, sync up, sync, and then we open our project. And then catalog, John, no, SDE, right? SDE is supposed to give you permissions for these. It's really easy. So all you have to do is basically go to manage and privileges, and then set this all to all. And then everything should just work as normal. So, all right, guys. So I went and set permission, full permission to John. I gave full permission to John for on all these tables. Now, as you can see, he can do all these kind of tools, use it. He can generate. Up, we got another error on this. We can take a look. So what did we do wrong here? So he says on the generate, he says DVMS table not found. So let's quickly fix it. So we had one tool to run, so the rest is not yet running. So let's continue that, fixing all this. Let's recompile this code, make sure it's all working. It's been a long episode. Okay, so what was there? Let's see. So we got it on generate. So we will debug this guy. Generate tower ranges. One click. Let's see. So that error was basically trying to open something, right? So there you go. So try to do that. Service territory, tower manager. Yeah, was it in the tower manager? So let's go deep into the tower manager. There, tower manager. Oh, there you go. That's just another thing we forgot to edit, I guess. So made it SDE dot. Oops, of course we can't do that, right? And looking good. Oh, I forgot to change open tables. Well, that's a big change. We have to do it. We only changed open feature classes, but we forgot open table. So open table, that's the one. There's only one open table anyway, the whole thing. So, right. Let's make sure it works now. So opening that table was missing the user or the owner of that table, which is the SDE. So we got that error. So hopefully now that tool will just run. How about that? We made it. Let's just make some edit, make sure it works. So I'm gonna move this guy, this tower here. I'm gonna move this tower here. Oh, that's outside the service territory. So we're going to move this tower here and then regenerate. So this will delete everything, and then the new ranges are generated. All right, guys. I know this was a long episode, Really sorry. Had some glitches, some problems. We fixed it, but now, all right, we have our code migrated. But obviously, as you can see, I don't rehearse these things. So all kind of problems that you can see is actually I'm getting it live and fixing it all the way. All right. So I hope you really enjoyed it. I don't think you did, but let me know if you need more of this. So next episode we're gonna move to versioning instead of non-versioning, and let's see. So we have our code running. Let me push it. So let me push that final fix on the GitHub repository. So that was open table bug commit sync and then done. All right, guys, that's all for me today. Don't forget to subscribe the channel if you didn't. So, and write me some comments. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Goodbye.